Good afternoon and welcome to the Lyric Professors. I am Professor A and I am much changed as I had basically passed eye failure and had to get glasses. So this is me now. We wear glasses. Glasses are cool. Yes, exactly. Joining me as ever are Professor Dogger back there and sometimes down there, and from the other side of the world, Professor J. How are things on the other side of the world, Professor J?
Glass-tacular. I'm always a glasses guy, so there we go. That's it. It's cold here.
Oh, it's just weird here, basically. So today we're doing two songs. The first of which shall be Professor J's choice, which was "Jogging" by Mr. Richard Dawson.
Jogging.
Jogging, yes. If
Jogging.
you're Nordic, jogging.
Yeah.
Yes, and the second shall be "Stranded" by the Manfred Mann Earth Band, or Manfred Mann's Earth Band, because he's very possessive. It's his band.
Me.
Yes, quite. Right, so that's what we're doing. So,
okay, let's do it.
Jogging by
Jogging by Richard Dawson. Do you know Richard Dawson?
I do not. Before you suggested this song, I had not heard of him at all.
Okay. He's kind of, I put him in that category a bit like your fella that we did a while back, Jackie Levin. He's kind of like the musician's musician. I mean, ostensibly he's a folk. He's a folker. He's a folk singer from the north, from Newcastle, just like Sam Fender.
Oh, he's not from Newcastle. He's from South Shields, North Shields. Oh, yeah.
Okay, he's from that area,
yes,
from the
yes.
north of the UK.
Yes, miles away.
And he plays this sort of strange sort of folk music, which I find really different to anything else that's out there. He plays with, as you can see, the picture that we have on the screen. That's him playing this sort of crappy old knackered acoustic, which is one of his favorites. His live shows are amazing. It's very typically just him and like an acoustic guitar like that, or sometimes a beat up old Silvertone or K sort of catalog guitar from the 60s or 70s. He doesn't use normal tuning. And he don't follow the rules, man. he's a free dude. So I stumbled across the song Jogging. I think during the lockdowns. It came out around about the lockdowns.
Around about it was 2020, was it?
I think so.
Yes.
And I love it. I think it's got a really catchy tune, or catchy riff. So much so that whenever I play it and the kids are around, they're sort of humming that little riff for a while. And musically, it's weird. He doesn't try and make the lyrics fit. He's got some lyrics, and he'll just make them fit a line, even if there's no reason why these lyrics should fit that line. He's written some lyrics, and they're going in there, whether he likes it or not. And this song is classic of a lot of his songs. It's kind of autobiographical, dealing with challenges. And yeah, I mean, I just find it really different. I think it's great stuff. I really like this song. I haven't really fallen in love with any of the rest of his stuff that I like, which I think is that often happens, right? That you hear a great song by an artist and you love it, and the rest of it maybe doesn't tickle your ticklers.
Tickle your fancy,
yeah.
Yes, no, I agree. Do you want to talk about this is your thing, about his guitar setups?
I don't know much about his guitar setups. I mean, he has like an old beat up acoustic, which he played for years. I think was a gift from someone that got gift because it was broken, and it's like just mad tuning. And then again, I forget exactly what it was, but it's kind of like a Silvertone. Silvertone, the classic US and I guess UK, they were Ks or whichever way around it was. These catalog, what falls under the rubric of the catalog guitar. So in the 60s, 70s, and early 80s, there weren't that many record shops, music shops that you could go in and buy a guitar. And if you did, they were chuffing expensive, as opposed to now where you can go and buy a decent guitar for $100. So you could order them from these catalog shops, and the classic ones are Silvertone and K. So it's not the catalog shops; these catalogs, and you could pay for them in installments.
Right. Yes.
And they're kind of typically overseas made. I think a lot of them are made in Japan. I mean, nowadays Japan has got a really strong pedigree of making great instruments, and these guitars are hit or miss. They can be amazing and they can be absolute bog. Sorry, Dogger.
Dogger's a big fan.
They can either be great or rubbish. And the quality is really variable, and the different types of pickups and everything they use is very variable. I think they've had a real rebound in popularity recently because Jack White famously played these sort of Silvertone things with crappy action that he just played as a slide guitar. He loves, I mean, that's kind of Jack White's thing, right? He takes preposterous equipment and manages to get a good sound of it out of it. That's and other people try and do that and fail.
But the only other thing I could say about this was it's on Wikipedia, so it must be true, that he plays with a Fender and an Orange amplifier in series. He's playing live.
Can't see it, but there's an orange amp there.
Yeah. And he also, apart from the guitars, he uses synthesized sounds from an iOS application called Thumb Jam, and plays saxophone occasionally, despite not knowing how to play saxophone. There you go.
Never heard of Thumb Jam, have you?
No, I haven't. But
we're going to rush out and play Thumb Jam.
I don't have an iOS device, so that wouldn't help me.
I am. Me neither.
Yes. Down with corporate monopolies. They're being charged with. Yes. Right. Should we actually talk about the song? That might work, mightn't it?
Yeah, I mean, great song, catchy hook, video with him jogging around. Should we do some lyrics?
Long, isn't it?
It is long.
Yes.
Okay. Recently, I've been struggling with anxiety to the point I find it hard to leave the flat. Days drain away scouring eBay or looking on Zoopla at houses where I'll never live. I know I must be paranoid. Every time I get the bus, I feel the many pairs of eyes weighing on my person surreptitiously. Let's take a pause there.
I think the first thing we can say is, as you said, he fits them in like it or not, and also he makes no attempt whatsoever to rhyme, which I admire greatly.
Absolutely.
I can't be dealing
Long live that book. Zoopla is, of course, the online house shopping website. Can we call it that?
Yes. Yeah. Pick up a couple of houses this afternoon for my tea break.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that sets the scene. He's been struggling with anxiety. I'm going to do more lyrics.
I just point out that this is, in fact, from the album called 2020. It's released in 2019, so peak COVID, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, I discovered it during lockdown because it I was offered and took voluntary redundancy from my role as counsellor at St. Celia's Secondary School. So I went back freelance.
Excuse me a second. Apologise for that interruption. Carry on, Professor Joe.
I was offered and took voluntary redundancy from my role as counsellor at St. Celia's Secondary School. So I went back freelance as a graphic designer. Business is okay, but I miss working with the young folk.
I've got St. Cecilia's Secondary School, of course, St. Cecilia being the patron saint of music, as we've mentioned in other episodes. So,
indeed. Did I not say St. Cecilia?
You said St. Celia.
I meant to say Cecilia.
Yes.
I was talking so fast, your
Yeah.
ears can't handle it.
Oh, that's entirely true. I'm sure my ears are almost as bad as my eyes. Yes. So, is this? Do you happen to know if this is biographical, or is he just making it up?
I believe so.
It is. Okay. So he's not the
Yeah.
full-time muso then.
Well, he wasn't.
Well, he says he's gone back as a graphic designer as well now, so still.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if you've got the energy to do more than one thing, or indeed one thing, then that's very admirable.
Yeah. All right. I know I must be paranoid. When I pick up the groceries, one of the girls who works the checkout tuts under her breath, and it destroys me for a week.
Yeah. Why?
Dr. Shen. Sorry.
I was going to talk about the lyrics. But you carry on, sure.
Dr. Shen prescribed me beta blockers and recommended taking daily exercise. I've started jogging. To my own great surprise, hundreds of miles going nowhere. I like this next line. I know I must be paranoid. This morning in Memorial Park, I thought I caught a busker sneak an ugly word into Wonderwall as I went by.
Yeah.
And jogging a few times.
Yes.
Jogging.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Why is the girl at the checkout tutting under her breath?
I don't know. What do you think?
Perhaps she thinks he's a scruffy oik who looks a bit like me, unfortunately. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. But as he says, he must be paranoid because if he's paranoid, it's suggesting he's imagining it. But it destroys him for a week.
Yeah.
I mean, anxiety is a terrible thing.
It sure is.
You both know.
Yeah. I mean, what's really interesting to me is just the way that he plays for when you think of folk music, you think of sort of jingly jangly chords and mandolin and nice and clean. And this is dirty. He plays dirty. If you see his live stuff, he's playing weird tunings. So like you said, he's playing through a Fender and an orange amps like this one, are renowned for two things: one being loud and two being grungy.
Right.
They've got a very fat distortion sound, and you can hear it in his tone. It's aggressive music for for essentially a solo musician. Essentially, what he is, he's a solo musician playing this sort of distorted, heavy stuff, and then it's folk. It's surreal.
Wikipedia describes it as progressive folk, but there's so
Yeah.
many, so many genres. Who knows?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, hold on. We only discussed one of the sections of the three you read out. Dr. Shen has prescribed him beta blockers. They're not for anxiety, are they, Mr. Medical? They're for
blocking your betas.
Yeah,
it's for
heart rate and
that
kind of thing. I'm not allowed to have them for some reason. They would kill me, I'm told, even though I have been prescribed them in the past and they didn't kill me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think is it asthma that they can massively exacerbate, something like that. I don't know. They're not prescribed as much for things like high blood pressure as they used to be, where they used to be the drug of choice and that other thing.
Okay.
Vagal in something or others. I don't know.
Right.
Things that make your veins slightly wider all the time. So yeah, we don't know why she would be prescribing that because I'm pretty sure they're not for anxiety, really. But I recommend taking daily exercise. Daily exercise is indeed something very good for anxiety. I would recommend get yourself a professor dogger and get dragged around the streets for half an hour to an hour a day. Yes. And then we have the busker who snuck an ugly word into Wonderwall. Snook, yes, that's quite possible. Wonderwall, of course,
word was
being a song by the English band Oasis, which everybody has heard of, probably. It's been covered many, many times.
It's the kind of modern guitarist song that everybody asks them to play, or every guitarist can play Wonderwall.
Yeah, I can play.
Whereas it used to be Stairway to Heaven, now it's
yeah,
Wonderwall.
yeah.
It's the cliche.
That is one of the very few songs I can play.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Although it was a different Oasis one I was better at. Whatever, that's right.
Whatever.
That's the Liam Lynch song, whatever. Right, yeah, so good. So he snuck an ugly word into Wonderwall, and
Jogging.
yeah, and then he's gone some yogging. All right, yes, do carry on.
Jogging. Okay. This is going to be a short one. There's a Kurdish family on the ground floor, had a brick put through their kitchen window. The police know who did this, still they do nothing. When he plays this live, this is the most significant line of the song. And he'll repeat that last line. The police who know who did this and still do nothing. Like 10, 20 times.
Right.
He'll keep saying it over and over and over again.
Well, it's basically his equivalent of the Sam Fender, I see my mother, the DWP sees a number.
Yeah.
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 But it's not the last line of that verse, though.
No, but I just wanted to
Yes.
emphasize that they repeat it over and over again. Yeah, and he finishes with "It's lonely up here in Middle England."
Yeah.
Middle England. What does Middle England mean?
Excuse me. It's basically considered to be the well-off reactionary right-wing society which votes for the Tory party, and they're probably going to try to get them back in again this year. Middle England, don't do that. Tory party is evil. That's my personal opinion, not necessarily an opinion of the lyric professors.
So, middle class.
Yeah.
England, not the middle of England.
No, it's definitely not a geographical reference, and obviously he's not in the middle of England anyway, so that wouldn't make any sense. He's in the north.
Yeah. All right, more words. I know I must be paranoid. I feel the atmosphere around here is growing nastier. People don't smile anymore. There's no such thing as a quick fix, but jogging has provided me a base on which to mold my time. Let my worries go a while. Bit of a repetition. People don't care anymore. And then I just love the way this ends.
Yeah.
Would you like to sponsor me for running the London Marathon? Though it's really daunting, we're aiming to raise £1,000 for the British Red Cross.
Yeah.
End.
That is a fantastic end. Yes. I mean, he's right though. During COVID, the lockdown and the other times around that, it seemed there was sort of a blitz spirit, as they say in England. Excuse me, Professor Dogger. I know you've had a lot to say, but I'm speaking at the moment. Can you sit there where you can be seen? That's much better. Good. Right. Oh, off she goes. But since then, it's straight back to the I'm all right, Jack. I don't care about you. People are so selfish in this country. They really are. They don't care. As long as you get what you want, it doesn't matter about anyone else in this country. Absolutely. It's a nasty place. It really is. I'm sure it's not so true of the whole country, but this close to London, it certainly is. And everyone's struggling to make ends meet while the government raises the defence budget for no reason whatsoever, and have announced that people with mental illness are making a lifestyle choice and need to get over it and get back to work. And of course, they've finally won their that's excellent work. They've finally won their vote to be able to send immigrants to Rwanda, which has now been legally declared as safe. Yeah, okay. Mind you, it's not particularly safe here either, so who knows? It's a nasty place. People emulate the leaders they have, and we have some very nasty leaders indeed. Again, just my opinion. And people don't smile anymore because everyone's poor and everyone's unhappy. And you have to decide whether you want to eat or heat during the winter. But that's okay, because they're building affordable houses, which by their definition is affordable to someone with a salary of £80,000 a year, which is more than twice the average. So that's how they justify building 5-bedroom luxury houses for their cronies to buy and rent out. And I'll shut up finally. Over to you.
I don't follow the UK news, so I don't know any of this.
Unfortunately, I have to as I live here.
Yeah, so that's it. That's the song. I think it's great. I think it's really catchy.
Cheers.
Video is him just sort of jogging
Yes.
around sort of things. Like I said, the live version is very powerful, but it's amazing the intensity of sound he creates with, you know, crappy guitars and an orange amp.
Yeah.
It's not. I really like it. Like I said, I'm not that bothered by the rest of his stuff, but this song I think is brilliant.
Obviously, we will put a link to the video for this song in the description below. You remember?
I mean, there's not many recent folk artists who've got more than 500,000 views of their stuff, is there? It's
I
pretty
would
good.
have thought so, but I don't really know who are any other recent. I mean, one could argue that Ed Sheeran's folk. He's got more than that.
I don't think I've ever listened to any Ed Sheeran.
Yeah,
not
the
knowing
2 or
him.
3 I've heard of his have been fairly folky.
Okay, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
No, I'm not a fan.
Well, is that folk just because it's a man and a guitar?
I guess so, pretty much.
What is folk?
Taylor Swift.
What?
She's fairly folky.
She's a man and a guitar?
She's a woman on a guitar.
Is she more country than folk?
She's some of each, I think.
What is folk?
It's mandolins and squiddly fiddles. I don't know.
I don't know.
They sing about crop cycles and things. Or crop circles and things.
Cycles of circles.
And the Green Man.
Oh, Green Man. He's come up before, hasn't he?
Has he?
But he had.
Don't know.
Maybe he has.
It's a good song though. Was it XTC? Was that Ballad of the Green Man? Something like that. It's really good.
Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead, XTC.
I've got another one called Something About the Green Man, which I will look at. So, not while I'm trying to do this, because this is a serious podcast, serious professionals podcasting. Professional.
Yes.
Seriously.
All right, I'm done. That's that one done. Next one.
Rightio. Well, my choice for this is how we do it, one song each on this changeover episode, I guess you could call it, is Stranded by Manfred Mann's Earth Band. Which, well, I say by Manfred Mann's Earth Band, the performance we're going to talk about is, but it's not actually by them, it's a cover version. Although people don't seem to realise that. Because if you look on the internet, on every YouTube video of this or whatever, there's people saying, oh, this is because when they were doing a concert in 1976, they were stranded in the airport in Iowa and they sat down and wrote this song. Well, they didn't, because it's a cover version. So they might well have been stranded, but it's not true at all. So anyway, do you know who they are, Manfred Mann's Earth Band?
Well, they wrote some cracking songs. So I know them from The Mighty Quinn.
Yes, but that was Manfred Mann, wasn't it? Not the Earth.
Well, let's come on to that, right? So Manfred Mann, I think Mighty Quinn, because I think it's a great song. They did some other songs, and these are all in the 60s. Doo-wah Diddy Diddy, which I don't remember, but Pretty Flamingo was very good.
That's a cracker.
So that was Manfred Mann, who were between 62 and 69, and named after their keyboardist, who went by the name Manfred Mann, but actually was Manfred Sepse Lubowitz.
And he's a South African gentleman.
Yes. And it's kind of a jazzy guy, right?
I think he's been very much different things in different periods. I'd say the Earth Band is much more progressive rock.
So they started off with Manfred Mann in the 60s, and that split up, and then they kind of reformed with Manfred Mann's Earth Band. Is that how it works? How does it work?
No, I think it was very strangely, the second band was Manfred Mann Chapter 3.
That was it.
between 69 and 71. We should also mention the Mighty Quinn. That's a cover version as well. So Bob
Oh, is
Dylan's.
it?
Bob Dylan's. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. So there you go.
oh.
In chapter 3, they didn't do any cover versions. It was very much jazz fusion inspired, and they only played songs written by Mike Hugg, who was a member of the band. What did he do?
He was the original guy he teamed up with, right? The
He was.
Hug Man Band, the Man Hug
Oh
Band.
right, didn't know
Man
that.
Hug.
The Man Hug.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was it called? Hang on, I've got this somewhere. He met Mike Hugg at Clacton Butlin's holiday camp in 1962, and they formed a large blues jazz band called the Man Hug Blues Brothers.
Excellent.
And
The best of it
then,
is the Man Bun Blues, but
and then that evolved into five-piece Manfred Mann when they signed a record deal in 1963.
anyway, in 1971, he'd had enough of playing only Mike Hugg compositions and the sort of rules that were applied to their jazz fusion music by Mike Hugg, and he went off to create a basically prog rock blues band called Manfred Mann's Earth Band with Colin Pattenden on bass guitar, Chris Slade on drums and vocals. Manfred Mann also sang vocals, and Mick Rogers on guitar and vocals. Their first single was another Bob Dylan cover. So they like the covers, these lads. Please, Mrs. Henry was their first single in 1971. And that was credited as Manfred Mann again, even though the band was called the Earth Band. So it's all very confusing. And he's done well, hasn't he? To be not necessarily, he's not really the front man, but he's had all these bands named after him. It's a bit like
does he
the only
that?
other one I can think of is Fleetwood Mac, where it's named after the drummer and the bassist. Yeah, strange. Um,
What?
Sorry, before calling themselves the Earth Band, they also consider Manfred Mann's Arm Band, Manfred Mann's Head Band, Manfred Mann's Elastic Band.
Really?
Apparently so. But they settled on Earth Band eventually.
Hey, the 70s, huh?
Yeah, quite.
So you say this is a cover?
Yes. Well, we're almost there. Their major hit that everyone knows about is a cover version, amazingly, of Bruce Springsteen's "Blinded by the Light," which was a big number one, I think, in many places.
Not the song by the Seahorses, then?
No. No, in 1977, they charted at number one on the Billboard Hot 100 with "Blinded by the Light." Then the next album came out called Chance. Is it Chance or Change?
It's Chance. This one is Chance.
Yes.
Yeah,
This one.
1980.
And they didn't have a single hit on it. But it did include this song, Stranded, which when I first heard it, I was told it was called Stranded in Iowa. I first heard this song when my mate Brent, who came from, I believe, Des Moines, Iowa, sent me it. And I thought it was great. It was an absolutely amazing track. That was way back in the early 90s, probably. I think he's now in the Philippines or something. So thanks for that, Brent, if you're listening, which you're not because no one's listening. But anyway, yes. So yeah, I was told it's called Stranded in Iowa, and that's why I've always thought of it. In fact, that's how I first put it on the titles at the top of the screen. And then I realised it's actually called Stranded, and it's a cover version of a song called Stranded in Iowa by a man called Mike Heron, who was an original member of the Incredible String Band.
And he invented herons. The inventor of herons.
Yeah, that's the guy. And he actually, he's old enough to have performed at Woodstock. Mike Heron did.
Oh, wow.
The Incredible String Band were sort of, I don't know how to describe them, more folky, bluesy. I don't know. Never listened to them. But Mike Heron did this song, Stranded in Iowa, and it's very progressive rock. You should give it a listen. I'll put a link to that as well as the Manfred Mann version down below when we get finished. Anyway, this song is about being stranded in Iowa, but it's not about Manfred Mann's band being stranded in Iowa, as I said, because they didn't write it. It's credited to Mike Herron and Manfred Mann, because Manfred Mann thinks putting in a bit of Morse code is enough to justify the songwriting credit, which is nice. What I love about this song is it's just so sort of spacey and out there, and it includes two elements that I love and have used in my own songs, or our songs. That being a bit of Morse code and a shipping forecast. I love both of these as sort of ambient background noises to songs. So that's what Manfred Mann added, basically. A shipping forecast, some Morse code, and it was also really low down in the mix. There's a sort of telling a story about someone being discovered stranded. The only word I can make out is torch, basically. But there you go. I don't have lyrics for that bit, I'm afraid.
I mean, it's quite. I mean, it sounds really modern. You know, it's a 1980s song, but with all those samples in there, it sounds really modern, huh?
Yeah, it does. I still listen.
It almost reminded me of Fluffy Pink Clouds by The Orb in terms of the way that the samples are in there, and there's all sorts of different samples. And like you said, there's the main sample of the sort of Mayday call. But also there's a lot of other stuff.
I mean, obviously it's meant to be SOS ... because of the rhythm of the song. It comes out as ... which is SEETS, which doesn't mean much, but it's obviously meant to be SOS.
Right.
And it's the song, as I say, about being stranded. Iowa obviously has a severe weather at times, and lots of people have been stranded on roads, buried up to their car roofs in snow and things. It's quite a dangerous place from that point of view.
I'm trying to remember if I've ever been to Iowa.
I haven't been anywhere in the middle. I've been to both coasts a lot.
Just looking at Route 66. No, there's gone. I think I just missed Iowa. Kansas,
of course, is well known for its tornadoes and things. The Midwest is such a dangerous place.
Well, Route 66, if you follow the original course, it goes through Kansas for something like 17 miles. just the tiniest little tip. You know how these American states are square. Just takes a tiny little. No, I've not been to. I thought I had been to Iowa, but I've not.
Oh well, that's a pleasure to look forward to sometime, maybe.
Yes, maybe. Or not. Maybe after reading this song, I'll.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, would you like to read the lyrics, or would you like me to do that?
You do it.
Okay. Stranded in Iowa. Stranded in Iowa. Better get the breakdown squad out, get me rolling on, because I can't keep my thoughts out of sight. Better get the breakdown squad out, get me rolling on, because I need to feel the stars sleep by at night, I think. So, basically,
it's broken down in Iowa, right?
Yeah, I mean, these, I don't know I can't keep my thoughts out of sight. I guess he's saying he's anxious and worried that he might not make it, that kind of thing. His thoughts are becoming large in his head. Oh no, I'm stranded, that kind of thing. I thought, I don't know. I need to feel the stars sleep by at night.
Scan very well, does it?
No, not really. It was,
absolute rubbish.
He's made the fatal mistake here of doing a bit of rhyming with night and sight.
What a fool.
Richard Dawson wouldn't have done that. No. Oh well, Mike Herron, nice one.
British Red Cross. Yeah. So the Breakdown Squad. Feels like it's he's talking about a rock group.
Yes, or a set of superheroes.
Breakdown Squad, like some crazy DJs. It's a breakdown.
Get the breakdown squad out to put a donk on it. Yes. Yes. So he's actually saying he's stranded because he's broken down, not because he's roof deep in snow or whatever. So,
Now, has he broken down, or has
that could be
has his
it.
car broken down? Has he? Oh,
Should have thought of that.
ooh,
Okay.
ooh.
Anyway, more loops. I'm stranded all night, stranded all right. Well, that sounds like he's fine with it. I'm not so keen. I don't think lyrics are the strong point of many 70s bands, to be fair, 70s, 80s. Or indeed us, which is why we're doing this whole thing, apparently. Dogger, don't eat the bed. Thank you. Anyway, next verse. This is a sort of, I guess this is probably the bit that Manfred Mann added. I don't remember this being the original. Anyway, Mayday, this is Echo Hotel. Mayday, this is Echo Hotel. Mayday, this is Echo Hotel. Then, Hotel Echo, this is Mike November. I can hear your call. Mayday, this is Echo Hotel. Mayday, this is Echo Hotel. Hotel Echo, this is Charlie Delta. I can feel the fear. Mayday, this is Echo Hotel. Fading out a bit, and this is where you get the story about someone being rescued from somewhere with a torch. And a sort of weird synth. Is it synth or synth guitar? I'm not sure. Solo. It's probably both.
80. There were some nasty guitar synths. I'd have to listen to
Right.
again. It's kind of really early in the synth guitar
But then I
world.
guess as Manfred Mann is a synth man, it's probably a
He's a
synth.
keyboardist, so I
Yeah.
don't imagine it would be a synth guitar.
So, Mayday, what's that mean, Professor J?
It's not for a couple of weeks. The 1st of May.
Yeah.
So this is the international call of distress.
And it's from a
It
phrase
comes from the
from the other side
French.
of the world, yes.
Yes, it's from Mayday, help me. Mayday, Mayday. So he's struck. So what's all this Echo, Mike, November, Charlie, Delta
These are
jazz?
what's it, the radio call signs. I think these are the international NATO call signs for each letter. So this is I don't what I don't understand is so he's obviously saying Mayday. This is EH, but
Yeah.
it's not Manfred Mann. It's not Mike Heron. So who knows? And then he gets a reply from Mike November, which is MN, who can hear his call, but doesn't seem to do anything about it. Then he has another try of help meing, and he gets a reply from someone called Charlie Delta, CD. Again, don't know who they are. I don't know why these
Before
letters.
CDs were invented. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I don't know why they picked these letters.
Yeah, that's
It's
interesting.
strange.
It's intriguing, isn't it?
There's no genuine backstory for this one. There's the fake one, as I said, where people say they were stranded in an airport, and even that doesn't make any sense. The HCD one. And then there's
Right.
another one where there's at least one guy who, on every YouTube video of this, comments, "Oh, it's not shipping forecast, you idiots. This is intercontinental ballistic missile tests." Really? No, it's not.
So the NATO phonetic alphabet is also called the International Radio Telephony Spelling Alphabet. There we go. It's got other names. Let's hear some other names.
Oh, lovely.
The ICAO phonetic alphabet, the ICAO spelling alphabet. It's not to be confused with the International Phonetic Alphabet.
Right.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no, 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 no. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try not to make that confusion again.
Yeah. So I don't know who these people are, Mike November.
No, I don't know either. You'd
Yeah.
think that with a song that's been out this long from a band that's still going, with Manfred Mann in his 80s, you'd have thought there would be sort of more lore about it.
I am the law. How many of the originals are left in the Manfred, the MM band?
I really don't know. I should have looked that up. But they are, as of last year, they still play. And I should mention that, a little bit of trivia, I was taught guitar, I really was, by a man who was a touring guitarist for Manfred Mann's Earth band.
Tory? I thought you didn't like the Tories.
I don't like the Tories. I actually said touring, as in going around different places, whittling on his guitar a bit. So I should be really good at guitar.
What's that got to do with Manfred Mann?
I said he was a touring guitarist for Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
Ah, okay.
But you were
Didn't
too
hear
busy
the full
jumping on the
Manfred.
fact that touring sounded like touring.
But which Manfred Mann? For Manfred Mann or the
For the Earth Band,
Earth Band?
which is still going. So
Let's
he still
see
might
who
be. I
that could
don't know.
be. I was just looking at the timeline.
Well, he's not mentioned on the timeline, but I think that's only including ones that recorded on the record CDs or whatever.
Ah,
Just a live
okay.
extra guitarist.
Accepted. Oh my God! Have you seen the Manfred Mann?
Yes.
Well, I guess it's a long time, right? Yeah, it's from 1972 to 1920.
Yeah.
What colour is guitar? Guitar is green. So they've had Mick Rogers, Chris Thompson, Dave Flett, Steve Waller.
Yeah, my guy was
Not that many.
Paul Jackson. I think his name.
Lots of bass players.
Yes.
Oh, there was a gap when Manfred Mann wasn't in the Manfred
Oh, I
Mann.
hadn't noticed that.
I think it seems nobody was, so they had a hiatus. Sorry, hiatus.
Right, okay.
Which position in the band do you think has changed the most?
It's usually drums, isn't
It is drums.
it? No one likes a drummer, so they always get a new one.
Ooh, slow your roll there. Sorry.
Okay, let's finish this then. Stranded in Iowa. Better get the breakdown squad out. Get you rolling on. I can't get your thoughts out of sight. Can't feel the stars. Sleep quiet at night. Repeat to fade. Oh, well, no, it's not repeat to fade. He just says that 3 times. Then he says, Mayday, this is Echo Hotel to fade. So,
What do you think it means? Do you think he's really stranded in Iowa?
I don't think so. I don't think Mike Heron is. He's probably dead. I don't know. I should know that. But, no, I think you're quite right. It's probably a metaphysical stranding.
Yeah, I think it's clearly a metaphysical stranding.
It sounds quite painful, to be fair. You wouldn't want any metaphysical stranded, would you?
He's still going, Mike Heron, James Michael Heron, the age of 81.
Yeah. All these people who live a long time. Sure, I won't.
Made his last album in 2005 for his solo discography.
The album with this song is called Something About Diamonds. Dozen Diamonds or something.
Diamonds of Dreams,
Diamonds of Dreams.
1977. Yeah,
So anyway, I think it's a great song, and
it's a great. I do like it. Doesn't feel like it's a 1980 song with all the sampling in. Feels like it late 80s. I was thinking that when I first listened to it, thinking it was a song from the 60s or 70s. And when I realized it was a song from 1980, I was like, oh well, maybe that's.
Yeah.
It does feel very, well, not modern, but later than 1980.
Sampling stuff is probably before its time, to be honest. I mean,
yeah, I would say so. I mean, there can't be that many songs. Pop, let's call this a pop song, even if it's not. There can't be that many pop songs who use that much significant sampling before that time. Okay, I know maybe it didn't start, but the Beatles used it quite a lot, but not this level of it. It's punctuated throughout the song, various different sort of bits overlapping, weaving together.
Oh.
Would you like a word count?
Oh, I'd love it. Sorry, hold on.
Oh.
It is time for Professor J's word count.
Okay. For stranded in Iowa, do you want to guess the unique words? Bearing in mind the whole bit that, basically your words you read out.
I'm going to say about 55.
Oh, within the Ben folds.
Oh.
Within the Ben folds.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
The sphere of Ben folds. Actually, it's 45.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's got to be. Actually, I need to
I'm sure
check.
that's the lowest.
Is that the lowest? Hang on, let me just check. Could you fill while I'm checking?
I will fill. I don't know who Phil is, but I shall do an impression of Phil. Phil often sits here and looks at the screen with a doggo behind him. That's what Phil does.
Find it.
Oh, you can't
Hang on,
find it.
hang on.
What are we meant to do?
Right,
I don't know.
tab. Oh, what does Professor Duggar think?
Professor Dogger just did us an interesting rolling over thing, and then she stopped.
Saw that. There we go. Here we go. What is the lowest song word count? No. 36 from Smith. Oh, we haven't done that one yet. It's the lowest one so far. Oh no, hang on, that has come out.
Smith
Yeah,
has
sorry,
come out, yeah.
has come out. It's
Theoretically.
36 is the
That's
lowest from
that's
last
the
night I
last
dreamt
one,
that somebody
wasn't it?
loved one. Yeah.
But then there's only 36 words in it, so it's probably the littlest.
So yeah, so it's 45 words out of a total of 256. There's a lot of repeaty woo woo. Would you like to know the word count for your?
I would. It's going to be much higher.
It is much higher. It's 188 out of a total of 314, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah, I'd have thought it was more than that.
Yeah, I would actually.
After our last one, Mr. Wren with his 800 odd.
I was surprised by the ratio, ratio of 188 to 314. I thought there'd be a higher proportion of unique words to total words, but I guess you've got I and I's and
Yes.
there's, so I guess that
Yeah, true.
counts the majority of it. There we go.
Oh, that's good. Do we have anything else to say?
Go and watch the video for Jogging. It's a great song. Go and raise some money for the British Red Cross if this thing's still going 5 years later.
Well, we need to find out whether he actually ran the marathon or not, because there's a difference between going jogging and doing a marathon.
He doesn't look the sort of build.
No.
I would sponsor him because he doesn't look the sort of build that would naturally be able to run a marathon.
Ooh,
bless him.
Vicious. Poor Richard Dawson. He'll be listening to this and be very upset.
I don't mean it in any. I think it's remarkable that he's changing his life, running a marathon, and raising money for the British Red Cross at the same time. Good on you.
Good show. Yes. Right. Well, I think that's probably all we have to say about these two songs. Go and have a look at them. Next, we're doing a new 3-part artist who I enjoy. Professor J doesn't, but that's all right. And we will see you next time. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, ring the bell. Apparently you meant to say that. I'm not entirely sure what that does. Ring the bell. And good song by the Pixies called Ring the Bell. Sorry, Pixies, not the Pixies. Anyway, so see you next time. Bye.
Bye.